Yeah, I believe we are live. Hopefully. And if I'm not, at least I'm recording this. Anywho, let me share this on Twitter so it's cool and people can watch it both on Periscope and on YouTube. Give me a quick second. One quick second. Discard. By the way, feel free to ask me any questions and I'll make sure to reply to your questions once I see it. So let's get started. I just tweeted this on my Twitter account, the YouTube link. Anywho, so this is Calendly. This is the scheduler that I use to schedule my meetings with my prospective clients. Look, scheduling meetings is it's such a mind fuck, man. Not only because of the time zone, but also because of, man, just that back and forth with the client in order to find some time to meet with them. Oh man, I don't know how many sales I lost in the past because I didn't have a clear path, a great app to help my clients schedule the meetings with me. So I started using Calendly like 1 or 2 years ago, and it solved everything for me, from the time zone, from my time slots, everything. So let's get started. All you have to do is sign up to calendly.com. It's 100% free. They have a paid version, but you don't actually need it to get started. And once you're inside your account, you'll be greeted with different, let's call it categories, different, they call it events, but I just prefer to call it categories. And you'll be able to create different types of meetings. So I have one for 30 minutes. I have another one for a one-on-one podcast, another for a strategy session for 60 minutes, another one to meet some friends or whatever for 15 minutes, a strategy session for web design and whatnot. So once you're here, all you have to do is just create a new event by clicking on that little button there and choose the one-on-one meeting. You hit that create button and you name this the best meeting in the world. So I highly advise you to name this with the name of your meeting name. So it could be like strategy session or whatever you want to call your strategy session. Then you add a location, and I highly advise you to use Zoom. And by the way, it doesn't come with Zoom out of the box. You have to integrate it. And all you have to do is just click on this little button that you see here and find Zoom somewhere around here. Let's see where it is. You click it and you follow the instructions and you'll be able to connect Calendly with Zoom. And once someone schedules a call with you, Zoom automatically create it for you, which is, to me, mind-blowing, man. All automatically. Anyhow, let's go back to create our event type. Here you could add a short description. It doesn't have to be, something that it's life-changing. It's just a brief summary of what the meeting is about and what you'll be talking about. So depending on the meeting, you could just use, for example, let me copy paste this. Something simple as this. During the call, we'll talk about X, Y, or Z. So it's very straightforward. Or you can be even more precise and put something like this. This is a 30 to 45 minute private call. I'll answer your questions. I will create a detailed plan of action or whatever. And yeah, it doesn't have to be thorough. It's just something very descriptive and short, nothing else. Once you're done with that, you just click next. Or you can rename the event link, but you don't have to. Next. So here's where most people fail. Okay, they let people schedule 60 days in the future. In my experience, this is a huge mistake because you don't want to schedule a sales call in 60 days, man. Some clients do that because they have a very tight schedule. But do you really want to work with someone that cannot even meet with you for 30 minutes? I don't think so. So my advice is that you schedule within 4 to 7 days, maybe 5 days into the future. So people can schedule a meeting with you up to 5 days in the future. not more. Okay, because that way you force them to have the meeting with you right there in that same week. You don't want them to meet with you in 60 days because you will lose that sale. They'll forget about you either way by that time. So once you add that 5 to 7 days in the future for your date range, you scroll down and you could create your availability. Oh, by the way, they changed the user interface. So I had not seen this new user interface. But you could use an existing schedule from whatever you've created before, or you could set custom hours, which I advise you to do that. Remove Sundays and Saturdays. I usually don't take Friday calls. So all of my calls are from 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. every Monday through Thursday. That's when people can schedule those calls with me. Why? Because I only work with people that can adapt to my schedule. If they can't, I'm sorry for them. I will not take the call. So that's a big leap into the future for yourself. Only schedule calls when you are available. Forget about trying to provide all of your time for your clients. No, you are the priority. You set the schedule and they adapt to it. That's the way it is. The best freelancers, the best businesses do that. They just don't give their time away for free because they're getting paid. No, there needs to be structure. So I only schedule sales call between 2 and 6 p.m. After that, you can choose the time frame of the duration of this call. It could be 15 minutes, 30 minutes. I highly encourage you to keep it at 30 minutes. They will usually last around that time. And add a buffer. The buffer is, as you can see here, allocate time before and after the event so you can, give yourself some leeway to avoid, having back-to-back calls, which sometimes happens. Sometimes people talk too much and the meeting just becomes from a 30-minute meeting to a 45-minute meeting, sometimes 60 minutes. So keep this buffer before and after within the 15 to 30 minute range. So that way you have at least 15 minutes before and after your available hours to prepare yourself and to wrap up previous meetings. Once you're done, you click the next button. And here's the money thing. If you have, for example, discovery calls instead of strategy sessions or sales calls, here you can start asking some questions to your prospects. So that way you don't get into calls with people who you might feel are not a good fit for your services. So here you can ask questions from who they are, what their name, which industry they consider they're in. What else? For example, I ask for my one-on-one coaching for their phone number. Okay, so you could do the following thing. You could add a new question, copy paste, put it on required, and find the phone number answer type. Click apply, and then you can drag and drop this anywhere within this little section that you see here. So, for example, if you are a coach and you're teaching people how to do what you do, you could add the following question, like, let me read this. Please describe your current offer, services, courses, digital products in detail. Who do you serve and what do you charge? And you can make this multiple lines so people know that they have to reply in a more thorough way. And you click apply and you drag and drop this to anywhere else within this section. So make sure that these questions are qualifying questions. So that way, the answers that you get give you a little bit more context about the person with whom you'll be working during the phone call. Cool? So once you're done with these questions and adding the questions, just click save and close. And one last word of advice here. Keep it within 5 to top 7 questions. 7 is just too much. Maybe 5, it's a good thing if you are trying to qualify the client. Anywho, just click save and close. And add the notifications and, well, you can add the cancellation policy, but you don't have to. It's already done for you. But it's wise for you to check the notifications. And you can see here the calendar invitations. And you can personalize it. You click there, and there you'll see that the email that the person will get will have their full name and your name, okay? And after that, the body of the email will have the event name, the event description, the location, and the questions and everything they replied to in the previous section that we saw, the questions. After that, you also can activate the email reminders. So that way they get, let me find this, let me see, personalize here. They get an email, let's say 24 hours before the event. And I usually add something within the at least 2 to 4 hours before the event. So they get an email that reminds them about the meeting. So that way you don't have to follow up. And this is how you start automating this process. You let all of that grunt work to Calendly, and they'll do all of that for you automatically. So you just tell them, hey, send an email 24 hours and 2 hours before the meeting. And that's it. You can even add a follow-up email that you can send, let's say, 1 hour after the meeting, telling them like, hey, John, thank you so much for attending to the meeting. Your feedback and your responses were awesome. That's it. And finally, you just save and close. Okay. Now, if you're a more advanced user, like for example me, once someone schedule a meeting, you can send them to a external website. So you can create a landing page specifically for this. Okay. You don't have to, but you can. You can. And if you want to look more professional, try to do it, okay? But if not, you just leave this on display Calendly confirmation page, and they'll just send them to the default Calendly confirmation page, so you don't have to do a lot of things. You save and close, and if you ever want to charge for some of your calls, you can connect this with Stripe or with PayPal, and you can add an amount of, let's say, dollars that you want to collect in order for people to be able to schedule this meeting with you, okay? But in this case, since this is for a sales call and strategy session, whatever, just leave it and do not collect payments for this event. Once you're done, you can see the page live by clicking on this little button here, View Live Page. And this is the link that you're going to be sending to these people. This one that you see here, okay? And once they get this link and they click it, they'll see everything that we added here. We see the strategy session, we see the description, and we see that right here. We see it here also. We also see that it's a web conferencing call because we added Zoom, okay, to the location. And finally, we also see the length of the duration of the call, which is, as you can see here, okay? So this is something else that I want to stress. I cannot stress this enough. Remember to add 5 to 7 days into the future for your potential, for your open schedule. So people cannot schedule after 5 to 7 days in the future. Because if you schedule something, let's say 30 days from now, you will certainly lose that sale because they'll just forget about you. Anywho, as you can see, I only have 24, 25, and 26 available because I'm not available on Fridays, as you can see from my availability calendar. Okay, so once they click the option, the day, they'll be able to schedule a call at whatever time I have available. And the great thing is that if I have something scheduled during these days, if you connect Calendly with your Google Calendar and Calendly are smart enough to let know each other about the events that you have, okay? Meaning the other meetings that you have. So Calendly will automatically block any time in which they find a conflict with Google Calendar. So it's very straightforward. You could go to your integrations, and I think you can find Google somewhere here. Yeah, calendar connections, and you'll find your emails and everything that you can connect to. And this will find for any potential conflict and will just close your availability for those days. Anywho, back to the scheduler. When the client is here, they'll be able to schedule the call at whatever time you have available. Let's say at 4 p.m. They confirm, and then they'll get prompted with the questions that you ask them. Okay? And once they put their name, their email, their phone number, and answer all of these questions, and they click the schedule event, both you and the client will get an email confirming about this meeting. And one day before the meeting, Calendly will send them an email, both you and the client, because of this little thing that we did here a couple of minutes ago. Let's find this. Let's scroll down. Because of this, the email reminders, we set to Calendly, hey, I want you to send an email 24 hours before and 2 hours before the meeting. So Calendly will know that on November 26th, on November 25, it should be sending a reminder email. And in November 26th at 2 p.m., it should also send a reminder email. So that's basically everything you need to do to start scheduling your sales call or any kind of meeting that you have. This is also perfect for scheduling podcasts or scheduling any other event that you have with your family, with your friends, with your, who else, man? Whoever you want to schedule a meeting with you. So don't overcomplicate it. Calendly is 100% free. They have a paid plan, but you don't need that to schedule your sales calls and your strategy sessions, even coaching calls if you offer any type of coaching. So go ahead, open your Calendly account. Don't overcomplicate the process and start sending these links to your clients from now on so they can schedule the meetings when you are available. And if you're not, well, that's not the client that you need at that very moment. So thank you so much for watching. Hopefully you learned something new today, and see you guys tomorrow. As you know, I will be having one of these every single day for the next, 14 days, maybe. So feel free to reach out to me on on Twitter at Jose Rosado, or on Instagram at Jose Rosado HQ, or here on YouTube. I think it's Jose Rosado also. I forgot, man. I don't even give a shit. Anywho, talk to you soon and see you guys tomorrow.